everybody. Good evening. Welcome to the Post-Raw Show with Mike Tedesco, the editor-in-chief of Wrestleview.com.
And Victoria Tedesco.
The wife of the editor-in-chief. Yes, there you go. Hope everybody's doing well tonight. It's good to be here with you all. Well, I mean, it's as good as it's going to be after watching that Raw.
You always pep up when we do the show. But you were miserable tonight.
Oh, it was terrible.
You were absolutely miserable. There was really no, and you didn't take it out on me. I'm not saying that, but there was really no talking to you tonight, though. You were just in a bad mood.
It was just blah.
And not that it was the worst show of all time, but you just, blah.
Sometimes you just watch this show and it's just disheartening to just.
I don't know if it had to do with the weather tonight too. The weather here has been.
It's been cold. It's been rainy. It's been, daylight savings time is coming up. We need an extra hour of 2020. It's like,
yeah, really.
The days are getting darker out earlier.
So true.
And then you have to watch Raw in the fall, which is never, ever a good thing.
No.
Ever.
No.
Yet to be. And we got the Survivor Series build coming up, which is just
your fave.
Well, let's break out the playbook from the last 5 years and go from there. Actually, it's the last 4. But
I want to read your tweet later about that.
But this is a great show still. And I pep up for this show because we have so many great people that watch with us.
We
do. We have to celebrate. 1,000 subscribers. We finally did it.
We did it.
We did it.
You did it. I'm so excited.
Man. You think I just love to think about all the people that were there at the start of this whole entire thing.
I know the people. Not that the new subscribers are any less, whatever, but it is really about the people who were there from the beginning, and
oh yeah,
really we're following this whole journey with us while we got to this point,
That's it. I think of people like Quentin Walters. I think of Nafis Sadat, Daniel Shell, Goosey. Uncle Billy Hefner, we made it. We finally made it. Oh man,
we did.
So 1,000 subscribers. That's a huge weight.
I was so shocked.
And we're gonna keep building. Nafis Sadat actually sent me a lot of really good tips to help start getting us on multiple platforms. Now we're gonna start trying to look at getting us onto Facebook Live. We're gonna be looking at a whole bunch of different things. For those that listen to, also we have to just say a quick shout out because we haven't done this in a while, but we appreciate them and we think the world of them. For the people that listen to us on Spotify or iTunes or however you listen to us as well, the audio.
Well, those people too, they also, from the beginning have been listening to us on there. We do get a lot of people who do listen. Maybe not live all the time, but throughout the week, and it's very much appreciated.
Absolutely.
But don't stop here. If we
gotta keep going. We gotta keep going. We're gonna keep pushing through, and I'm gonna put just like I'm gonna push through this fall. We're gonna get there. We are gonna get there. So let's say hello to everybody in the chat room before we get going. Because we're gonna have do a little something different because I didn't get a chance to be on the Survivor Series. I'm already there.
I know
the Hell in a Cell watch along last night with Doug. So I want to share my thoughts, and Victoria wants to share her thoughts on Hell in a Cell. Plus, there's a Hell in a Cell bet that needs to be paid off tonight.
No, please. I thought we were gonna forget about that.
You never know. And then we have to review Raw. There's a lot of stuff that we got to get going tonight. So let's say hello to everybody. So, number one, we have Quentin Walters, who was the first comment here tonight.
First comment. He's usually always the first in the chat. And he's been one of the number one supporters of the Wrestleview Post-Raw show.
We got Andrew Elder. We got Daniel Shale.
Hello.
We have Nafis Sadat, our dear friend here. We got Goosey, who is he put it on his Facebook, so I'm just going to say, we hope you're doing well. He's recovering from COVID-19.
There's been a lot of people who've had it, throughout the weeks that we've known, I
know. It stinks.
I feel so bad. I really do.
So we're wishing Goosey well as he continues to recover from this thing, but it looks like he's doing great. King of Hueco Mundo, who is Det Morales in real life there. So we say hello to Det. Trevor Mishke says, what's up?
Hello.
Brian oh, poor Doug and his liver. I heard that Doug made some bad choices last night.
Oh, dear.
Mashoon Walls.
Hello.
Good evening, Tedescos.
Hello.
And if I missed you, I'll make sure that I get to you at some point. Oh, Goosey says he beat it. He says I beat it. Mike tested positive twice about a week ago, symptom free now. So
that's great.
That's
very
awesome.
Good.
Or he said he tested negative twice about a week ago.
Nice.
So that's really good.
Nice.
So congratulations, Goosey. He's that's a tough one. Quentin Walters also had it.
Yes.
It's not fun. It's not fun. People around us are still getting it.
Our numbers are going up again in the area.
We're definitely in our second. We're getting to the second wave right now, which really, really stinks. It's let's just hope for the best and prepare for the worst. It's got to get through election day here, which thankfully is next Tuesday. I swear to God, if I see one more ad for Joe Biden or Donald Trump, I'm gonna go nuts. Whoever is elected, I just hope that they go I never see them on TV again.
Oh my God.
For the next 4 years.
That's not happening. We know that. No matter what.
I know. Especially if Trump wins, you'll hear from every day again. It's just like I've never lived through a presidency where just the name consumes our entire being, our entire culture. Every day, all you hear is Trump, 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 Trump. Tired of it, man. Can we talk about something else? What happened when we used to just talk about each other? Miss those days.
I miss the days of gossip.
Oh yeah. Michael Jewell, I miss a day of TMZ, just
I do
celebrities and just
I love how people. I love when people are like, "Oh, who really cares about the celebrity gossip?" It's like I do. I totally love celebrity gossip.
I'd love to go back to that.
I love it.
It's just mindless.
I like mindless
stuff.
Television, and I'm like a Jersey Shore fan. Yeah. Like, come on.
you know what really makes this this election cycle just insufferable. It's like I went to college for history, I did all the stuff with political science, and I know what I'm talking about usually when I talk about anything with the news, and I'm not putting myself over here, but it's just the facts. And
well, I'll just sit and listen.
No, I'm not saying that either, but I'm just saying there has been so many I'm all for civic engagement. I love that people are excited about exercising their civic duty, but man, there are some idiots now that you have to listen to that just don't know shit about anything, that are trying to tell you what's what about politics and how things operate in America. It's like, man, no.
Well,
please stop. It's just miserable. Quentin says, "Good luck, America." He's
far away from this. He's far removed. Anyways, let's talk about Hell in a Cell
Let's talk about Hell in a Cell. Let's talk about it. Man, oh man. Daniel Shell says Trump will go back to Russia on November 4th. Oh my God. Oh my goodness. Anyway, let's talk about Hell in a Cell, because this was a really mixed bag show, I guess you could say.
Can I just say though, real quick before
you can say a lot?
Okay, well, I'm so not into the cage. I really.
I know. The red cage.
I'm sorry. I know we spoke about this a lot last year, but it really does just look like the Ronald McDonald playhouse. The red is just not doing it for me.
It does look like a place.
It does not. It does not. It really is doing nothing for this intense pay-per-view matchups. It's just oh, why is it so bright red?
It's just, it's like the classic WWE overthink. It's like the cage was just fine and drew people, and then we had to McMahon it up. We had to change.
We had to
for the sake of change.
With the McDonald's. What does he have, a sponsorship?
I don't know.
All I thought of last night when I was watching the match, I'm like, I just really want a large fries and a Big Mac.
Yeah.
That's all I wanted last night when I watched it.
That's not what I want. I just wanted the damn silver cage back, and it's like this is a company that all they do, come WrestleMania time, it's all about nostalgia and bringing back old timers and crushing all the new people coming up. And, for as much as they rely on nostalgia, Why can't we just have the regular silver cage back, which is nostalgic, number one, but number two, it's effective in that it just looks like a massive structure. Like the red, it kind of just, like, I found that it was really blending just into like the background of like the Thunderdome, and it just really almost like, it just you look at it and you're like, am I watching a fucking cartoon?
That's
here?
what I'm saying.
Like seriously. It looks absurd. It just looks stupid.
It does. It looks very stupid.
Well, Trevor Mishke's going back 30 years. He wants the big blue bars back for the steel cage. I would like that.
That's a big.
The last time they used the big, well, they actually kept the blue bars but painted them black. I think the last time they really used it was like at St. Valentine's Day Massacre in 1999.
That's definitely a long time ago then.
Yeah,
that's for sure.
And then they started bringing in the mesh steel cage, probably because the mesh actually hurts a lot less than being run to that actual steel. I mean that was a pretty nasty contraption they used to have.
That's definitely nasty. And I'm not saying like, but it does. There's an element of, like a tough element that it loses just looking at it, like with that red color.
Yeah, because it's just like, that's not how it's supposed to be. It's like, you see all these great videos of like, Hell in a Cell highlights, Mick Foley being thrown off the cage, the Shawn Michaels stuff.
Yeah, of course, like the classics.
Like there have been really great Hell in a Cell matches through the years. Triple H, Shawn Michaels, Triple H, Batista, Undertaker, Randy Orton, and you're like, man, like that cell, that background, like, it's there and it's hanging over them as the silver cell, but it's not distracting. I find the red to be distracting.
It is distracting. It is.
And that's the exact opposite of what it should be. It should be a tool to help,
enhance
support the match and enhance it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Not take away and distract from it.
No. It does.
But that is this company.
It's an element of intensity, I'm telling you.
Right. That's this company in a nutshell, though, because it's like we have to just overthink it. We're going to change it because, well, it just needs updating when it really didn't. You know what needs updating? Their fucking storytelling tendencies.
Oh, why do we have to curse?
Because it stinks.
Okay, but
it
that's
stinks.
intense. That. I was going to say something. I can't remember. It even... I always laugh when I think of Hell in a Cell. And I used to play the WWE games a lot with you.
Yes.
We haven't played in a long time. And I remember this is our yearly story when Hell in a Cell happens. I always played that my favorite match that I played with the Hell in a Cell was Eve Torres versus Karma.
Eve Torres versus Karma was classic.
Then I had Eve Torres. I had Karma go through the steel cage from Eve Torres. Greatest match of all time.
There was like one of the coolest one of the coolest mistakes that you made in the game where you went to go hit Karma with your finisher, but like Karma dodged it or something like that, and you hit the referee, and it was like so perfect. I was like, oh my god, like that was actually really cool. So Hell in a Cell, like they had the 3 matches, and it was like, okay, we're gonna go all in with these 3 matches,
and
the time give them time, and we're gonna let them build, but. And I'm sure it's been said a million times already, they gave these matches way too much time. Way too much. Like you could have easily shaved off 10 minutes from each of these matches.
Yeah,
and they would have been absolute bangers. Now, the only one that kind of got away with it was Randy Orton and Drew McIntyre because they did enough in their Hell in a Cell to get through a half hour. It's like you can spend, 5 minutes selling everything and showing replays after McIntyre got knocked off the cage through the table. You can do that. You can get away with that. And that's the main event. So maybe if the other matches didn't go so damn long, it would have made the main event even better. But the Roman Reigns Jey Uso thing, man, like it was great storytelling, great acting, but a half hour for that. A half hour.
I think
for a story that, like, if you just read it and just kind of just look at it, it might take up like 2 sentences. They beat each other up. Neither of them wants to quit. And Roman, forces Jay to quit.
I like I definitely like the idea of the match, and I did like the match itself overall, but you made a good point just a few moments ago that if it had just maybe 10 minutes less than it was in total, it would have been even more effective.
Right.
So that's really kind of, you know, a central theme essentially last night, that like those matches just a few minutes shorter and they would have been
great. They would have been fine.
Epic. And
I don't know epic but...
for the times that we're in, epic for them.
Yeah.
Current situation.
But you think about, like, you know, what they could have put on the show, like who was left off the show. You know, like they've been doing Seth Rollins and Rey Mysterio for 9,000 years. You know, now Seth Rollins is going against Murphy. Put Seth Rollins and Murphy on the pay-per-view.
Yeah, something,
give them a 20-minute match, and then, you know, take, you know, that would be taking 10 minutes.
minutes.
That would be taking 10 minutes from Roman and Jay and Sasha and Bayley, and giving that 20 minutes.
Oh, that Sasha and Bayley one.
To Seth and Murphy. That would have been fine. Or even put Keith Lee and Braun Strowman on the show. Whatever. Just do something to try to get those guys over.
Yeah.
Braun Strowman was even on the show tonight. On this show last night or tonight.
No.
And
or
so I'm okay, go on. Yeah.
No, go ahead.
I'm curious though. You didn't like Sasha and Bayley?
I did, but I did feel that it did go a little bit long.
Mm-hmm.
And I did feel like it took, which I don't mind in certain matches. It takes a little bit of to start it up and to build it. But I don't know if it's just because of the storyline itself. This should have happened like years ago. This is too little too late for me, this feud. Okay. So when it finally happened, it's like all this time, and it's like, okay, here we are.
Yeah.
You know,
yeah,
I don't know. It was a little too late. And I'm not saying it's the worst, obviously, storyline that they have going right now, but I just feel like it would have been more effective years ago when it
peaked 2 years ago, and now look at what they had to do. I mean, okay, I'm going to preface it by saying I like the match. I thought they did a really good job.
I thought they were a great job too.
I thought they were a little too ambitious. There was a few there, there was a couple too many weapons in the match. There was a couple things that Bayley was doing with kendo sticks and Sasha was doing with kendo sticks that just didn't work out. Like Bayley trying to tape the kendo sticks, and then they just abandoned that spot altogether because it was just getting silly at that point. But for the most part, it was really good. But again, it could have benefited from being 5 to 10 minutes shorter. But, you know, like, you're right. This match should have paid off 2 years ago.
Yeah.
I mean, they completely botched it with that Dr. Shelby thing.
No doubt about it.
But this should have been at SummerSlam 2 years ago, and then just rode their way through the fall of 2018. Mm-hmm. Maybe Sasha Banks and Bayley, instead of, you know, carrying some dull-ass superfluous women's tag team titles going into WrestleMania 2019. Maybe their players going into the main event of WrestleMania against Ronda Rousey, Charlotte Flair. Maybe we're having a 4-way or a 5-way. Mm-hmm. You know, and who knows what happens with Becky Lynch? You know, like the whole history could have been rewritten here if they had pulled the trigger then. But they waited so long, and now look, they had the big payoff match. There's no fans there. I mean, who could have known that there would be a pandemic?
Yeah, of course.
But there's no fans there to pay the entire thing off, and you know, and it's just all in. It was a missed opportunity.
100%. I'll be back.
All right, Victoria is gonna go deal with Liliana. Now, okay, hold on one second before you go.
What?
Miz wins Money in the Bank at Hell in a Cell.
Oh yeah. Well, I'll talk about that when I get back.
All right. Yeah, because we're going to have a little more Miz tonight on this show, that's for sure. This is the first time Liliana's woken up at our new house with the hideous curtains behind us. I think we need to do a GoFundMe to get like new curtains or something like that, because it's like we put a lot of money down on the down payment, and it's like we got to wait to get curtains now. I think we need a GoFundMe on these damn curtains here. Just getting back to the chat room real quick. Jorge Oliva in the chat room. Olaf Amelia Tedesco, sorry with my late entry. Stomach flu, probably a bad taco. That stinks. I've been there, man. Billy Hefner, Uncle Billy. Uncle Billy is not feeling well. He's a sinus infection, but we're hoping he stays well and gets better ASAP. Okay, getting back to Hell in a Cell. Yeah, like I said, Randy Orton, Drew McIntyre. I thought the match was excellent. It really, really, really was. That's the one. If you're going to pick of the three that should go a half hour, McIntyre and Orton is that one. Let me just double check. I'm just kind of curious to see how long that match actually went. So I got to go to my old trusty resource Wikipedia because I usually keep all the match times. Yeah, they went 30 minutes and 35 seconds. They were the longest of the three. So Roman and Jay went 29 minutes and 20 seconds. Sasha and Bayley went 26:35. Actually, that felt a lot longer. So, but still, they could have had an 18-minute Hell in a Cell, and it would have been perfect. And cut out a few more weapon spots. You know, just focus on the wrestling, focus on the emotion. I didn't think they focused on the emotion of the match enough. I thought they were just trying to do too many cute weapon spots rather than actually trying to tell a story. And they were relying too much on the weapons to, you know, try to trick you into thinking it's a better match than it was. And it was still a good match. What I'm saying is they didn't need those damn weapons. They didn't need it. Hayden Barker in the chat room. Just steal Doug's green screen. I could do that. I do that. I've never liked Sasha, but I have to say she looks good in white. There you go. Okay. All right. Orton is just boring to me. Maybe I've seen his RKO angle for too many years. Yeah, it's an oldie but a goodie though, and he's one of the few that can really just get a story told in the ring and do it well. You know, like the one thing I really liked about Hell in a Cell was actually when it ended, and I wound up watching that WWE, what was it, WWE documentary, WWE Chronicle, whatever it was, with Orton versus The Undertaker and that whole entire feud. And, you know, he learned from some really great performers. And he's really been the MVP of WWE. He's been the MVP of COVID, Orton. Nafis asking, when do I think Orton will retire? The way he's going and how well he takes care of himself, and, you know, he does a lot without doing too much. You know, he's not killing himself in all of his matches. He could really go, I would say he shouldn't even start to think about it for at least another 5 years, maybe. You know, I think he has a pretty long contract already. Might even be a 5-year deal. I'm not entirely sure, but he's moving great. He's really moving great. He's better than ever with his promos. He's better than ever with telling a story in the ring. His mannerisms, you know, like he does the little things that a lot of other people don't do, you know, and that's probably why they haven't been able to make a new star in years. But, you know, you look at tonight's Raw, and then you realize why they haven't made a new star in years, because they don't book anybody to protect them. They just book for the night, and damn the consequences. But the undercard of Hell in a Cell sucked. For the most part, it was really bad. Elias versus Jeff Hardy, they did absolutely nothing in that match that would ever make me want to see it again. Yet, that's what we're going to get. We're going to get more Elias versus Jeff Hardy because Elias beat him with the guitar. Hardy hit Elias with the guitar, and Elias wins by DQ, so we're going to get more of that because we needed that. Miz versus Otis. You know, it's like we're having all these matches, you know, right after having the WWE draft, where we should be focusing on establishing our new rosters. And now we're going to have Survivor Series. It's like we literally just saw all these people fighting, you know, a couple weeks ago. So it's not really that special that like Survivor Series is going to happen now, because we're having all these cross-brand matches right now. It's so ridiculous. But this was the right move right here, because The Miz won the Money in the Bank contract. The Otis experiment, to me, it was a cute experiment. You know, while they, you know, like they were trying to just think outside the box as much as possible. You know, while we were in the throes of the shutdown. You know, we're not really shut down anymore. We still live in a state of emergency. I know, New Jersey, we're still in a state of emergency. We've been in a state of emergency since March, but we're allowed to go out. Restaurants are opening. You know, we're doing things, you know, and well, we'll see what happens with this second, or maybe you might even want to call it a third wave of COVID, or just a continuation of the first, because I really don't ever think that we got out of the first. But anyway, like they were trying, like, you know, they were trying to think of things to just get people talking and buzzing, and Otis was a hot character in the spring. give him Money in the Bank. Let's see what we can do. And then all of a sudden, they move to the Thunderdome. They start getting some of their viewers back. Not all of them, certainly not all of them, and then it's like, well, where does Otis fit in? Then he kind of disappeared. He was off TV for a few months, and now it's like, well, shit, we have this contract on this fat dude that we have no interest in pushing anymore. So he becomes one of the few people to win Money in the Bank and lose the contract. Doesn't even get to cash it in. He just loses the contract. I think he joins a short list. I think the other one was just Mr. Kennedy. I'm trying to think of anybody else who lost their contract. And I can't think of any. I know, and there are people that have lost their cash-ins, but I don't think anyone has lost the contract other than Ken Kennedy. So there's that. And now it's like, now they're like really just burying this guy, man. Oh man. Like even Mandy Rose tonight on Raw said that, she's still close with Otis, but I guess the dating thing is over, so it's like they have completely run away from Otis. His tag team partner who's on Raw turned on him. So I don't know. Are they going to put Tucker on Team Raw so that Otis can face him while they're both on Team SmackDown? Or are we going to have a cross-brand match just to have Otis and Tucker face, which I have no interest in seeing? I don't know, but it's the right move to put it on The Miz. The Miz has been consistent for, the last 10 years at least, 15 years maybe. He's been there for 15 years, but he's been really good for the last 7, I would say. It just all clicked. Like, he was the MVP of Raw in 2018. There's no question about it. He was awesome, literally. 2017, 2018, his segments really were must watch. I loved it. He was having great matches. He's earned this opportunity, and I really hope that they give him the belt. And I hope he gets it in a chicken shit way, and I hope that he just holds it until WrestleMania in the most chicken shit fashion possible. But he deserves another run with the title, because in 2011, I think it's hard to say that he was ready, that he was a finished product. Or he won at the end of 2010, lost it in 2011. And he hasn't had it since, but he's come such a long way since then. And look at all the turds that he's made into, something presentable. Damian Sandow was going nowhere fast in his career. Then all of a sudden he became Damian Mizdow, carrying off of, Miz's coattails. He really, really made the B team for a little while. Bo Dallas and Curtis Axel really benefited from him. Everything he touches turns to gold. He's wonderful, and he's got the good thing going with John Morrison. They were good from the get go. So I think it could be. I think this could be a really a good deal for him. Andrew Elder is thinking that the Fiend could be a setup for the Miz. That's not a bad idea either. And the other undercard match on Hell in a Cell, and then we'll start talking about Raw. I promise you. Bobby Lashley versus Slapjack. And I have so much to say about Retribution, so you know what? I'm just going to skip it. Bobby Lashley easily defeats Slapjack. Retribution. Wow. I mean, I don't even know what to say anymore about it. It's so incredibly bad. It's atrocious. It's awful. It's embarrassing. They are well on their way. Actually, I think they're already there, of being the worst stable that has ever existed. Ever. So, with that said, that was Hell in a Cell. This would have been an excellent pay-per-view if they had just shaved off a little time from those matches. Maybe threw one more match on the undercard that meant something, because Jeff Hardy and Elias meant nothing. Slapjack versus Bobby Lashley was just thrown on there, and Otis and Miz it had some stipulations, but it wasn't enough to keep you interested, for me at least. I think Victoria probably feels a different way. But anyway, heading over to Raw, which this was a slog to get through tonight. Oh my goodness. Where are my Raw results? Here they are. I don't know. It just I wasn't excited to watch it. You know why I'm not excited to watch it? Because when they don't announce a single thing on the show until 6:30, 7 o'clock, you know that they're announcing all that stuff because they just finalized the script for at least those segments. Oh my goodness. Like that has been happening for the last few months, that they're not announcing anything for Raw, and then all of a sudden they just dump out everything that they're going to be doing that night an hour or so before the show. That's not exactly inspiring tons of confidence in those that are interested in watching the show. You know, for the most part, all throughout the day, there's nothing advertised, and then you're like, okay, what's gonna be on Raw tonight? And then they just dump it all out. It's like, all right, well, it feels a little thrown together. I don't know if I want to watch, and that's how it feels. It just feels completely thrown together. You know, it's like this must be like vacation month for the writers, because it's like, okay, just open up the exact same storybook that we did last year for Survivor Series. That'll carry us again through the 4 weeks, and then we can get back to work and writing again. Because it's like this whole entire Survivor Series thing. Yes, they're usually good segments building up to it. Like I really liked the NXT invasion last year, especially because half the crew was stuck in Saudi Arabia last year, or 3/4 of the crew was, and they flew those guys up there, and they did a great job, and it was interesting. It was outside the box, and it just goes to show you that, you know, when they have their backs against the wall, they can hot shot some really good stuff, but it just like they just can't do it consistently to keep you interested. Kit Dyson, hello. Yeah, and Daniel Shell's already saying Doug actually tried to sell us on Retribution, LMAO. Yeah, I know. I'm not gonna kick him while he's down, but that was a tough sell to begin with. But yeah, like they have some good, you know, angles heading into Survivor Series, but at the end of those 4 weeks, it's like you just go back to like, okay, everybody to their separate brands again, and that's the end of it. It just feels like such a massive waste of time that there's nothing came of it. Nobody cares about brand supremacy because they switch brands constantly, and guys and girls are going back and forth between rosters and having matches, and they have talent invitations and wild cards, and it's just like, who cares about brand supremacy? Because there's no established lines. You know, it's like you have a brand split. You should go 2 years, you know, like really, like they should literally go 2 years before even hinting at a cross-promotional match. Like, I thought, you know, for the most part, they had a good idea of what they wanted to do in 2002 when they did the initial WWE draft. And they really did keep those rosters separate for a long time. I think the only inter-brand match they did from 2002 to 2004, and somebody will probably correct me, you know, I might be wrong about this, but I don't think I am. The only cross-promotional match that they did before WrestleMania 20 was, and WrestleMania 20, it was Undertaker versus Kane. That was the cross-promotional match there. I think the only the only cross-promotional match they did was in 2002 at Unforgiven with Billy and Chuck versus 3-Minute Warning. I think that was it. And then literally they didn't do another cross-promotional match for almost 2 years. That's the right way to go about it. Because like by the time they started doing cross-promotional matches, like, wow, I really want to see that. Oh, that would be a dream match. Imagine if. But now it's like such I'm trying to think of the word to say, but it's just like we need satisfaction right now. We can't wait. You know, like and neither can the writers. It's like as soon as their backs are against the wall, oh, let's hot shot this angle and throw this person onto SmackDown and do this, and that's not the way to run the business. You know, that's not the way to, you know, make people say like, well, SmackDown I have to watch because I'm not going to see any of those guys on Raw. You know, assuming that they had people that you actually want to see. Forget it. I'm not even going to get into it. But the Survivor Series is just so dumb. You know, like they had these like qualifying matches tonight, and they're fine for the most part. Like so we had AJ Styles versus Jeff Hardy. Okay, so I'll talk about AJ Styles versus Jeff Hardy and Elias versus Keith Lee. So AJ Styles comes out again with Jordan Omagbehin as his associate. And now last week they had Jordan's name on the graphic. This week they did not put Jordan's name on the graphic, and now he's just known as AJ's associate. So I guess they're going to be trying to work a new name for him. I don't know what's better than Jordan Omagabihin, but I guess they want something that they can trademark and market and keep for themselves when they eventually let the guy go. But for the most part, even though Jordan's presence, frightened Jeff Hardy, he didn't play into the finish whatsoever. Hardy. So the finish of the AJ Styles Jeff Hardy match was Hardy knocks Styles on the apron and goes for a twist of fate. Styles pushes him off into the ring post. Hardy's head bounces off the ring post. And I guess you could say maybe Omagabihin kind of played into the finish because he frightened Hardy, or Hardy was just looking at him because he's 7'6", and that's how Styles knocked him to the apron. But anyway, it wasn't enough to say he caused the finish, because he really didn't. Hardy went for a twist of fate, and Styles pushed him head first into the ring post. Then he gets him back in the ring, hits a phenomenal forearm, and gets the win. For the most part, that's a pretty clean finish, because there was nothing that Omagabihin did, and AJ Styles, the heel, gets a solid win over Jeff Hardy. Now, fast forward to the Keith Lee match. And this is where I talk about, the BS of everything being thrown together. Number one, they booked Keith Lee horribly. Other than that win over Randy Orton, they've really done almost nothing with him. He loses to Braun Strowman in a shit match last week. Braun Strowman isn't even on the show tonight. There's nothing going on here. Keith Lee, who should be booked as a future major player on this show or in the company in general, is getting his butt handed to him halfway through the match by Elias, and Elias is getting ready to finish Keith Lee off. He goes to the top rope for his, Elias is on the top rope. I guess he's going to drop his flying elbow. How many times have they done this with Keith Lee, where Keith Lee is getting ready to be beat by someone's finish, and then something happens, and then Keith Lee gets the win? That was happening constantly. Or Keith Lee just gets saved and doesn't have to lose. He gets a DQ win or whatever. That's all they do with this guy. So Elias goes to the top rope. Jeff Hardy's music hits, and Keith Lee slams Elias off the top rope and hits a spirit bomb for the win. Now, after the first match with AJ Styles, Elias came and hit Jeff Hardy with the guitar after the match was over. Not during the match, after. Didn't play into the finish at all. But here, Jeff Hardy's music plays, and that directly leads to the finish. Keith Lee can't beat Elias on his own, but AJ Styles can beat Jeff Hardy essentially on his own. How does that make any sense? How does that effectively put Keith Lee over? You can walk and chew bubblegum at the same time. You don't have to just say okay, well, we're going to get over the Elias Jeff Hardy program that no one gives a shit about, and Keith Lee will just be there. Keith Lee's just the background character for this match. That's not how it should be. You can make Keith Lee look strong and keep building to the future, while also, keeping the Elias Jeff Hardy program running. You could have Keith Lee straight up beat Elias with a spirit bomb. Jeff Hardy's music doesn't have to play. And then, turnabout is fair play. Jeff Hardy comes out after the match and smashes the guitar over Elias's back, which is payback for what Elias just did to him. That's a simple story to tell. And it's little things like that. That's how you keep people at a certain level and never get them to the next level. Because of stupid stuff like that. It was a simple thing, but damn, that drove me fucking crazy tonight. Because I couldn't believe it. I couldn't believe that Keith Lee, they couldn't even let him have a convincing win over Elias after he just lost like a dog last week in the main event. Are you kidding me? That's why no one's ever going to get over. That's why this company's in trouble. That's why Randy Orton at 40 is the WWE Champion again. And other than Drew McIntyre, really, who's he gonna face? Who's another big face for Randy Orton to face? I don't know. Not Keith Lee. Not Matt Riddle. I don't know any other big faces on Raw. Who's the big face that Roman Reigns is gonna face? There's no answers here. There's no answers. So they just they wasted an opportunity to make Keith Lee look strong. They just straight wasted it. Yeah, is he on the Survivor Series team? Yeah. Yes, he is. He's on the men's Survivor Series team. Is he a major player going into it? Not really, because they're probably going to throw Braun Strowman in there, and then it's going to be the odd couple tag team, and there's not going to be focus on Keith Lee. There, he's just going to be part of the background. And this is why wrestling in America is dying. This is it. WWE, for as much as, AEW's been around for a year. They haven't grown their audience in any substantial way. In fact, they've averaged out at 800,000. Yeah, they hit 1 million when NXT wasn't going against them, but that was the first time in almost a year that they hit 1 million. They're not the answer. I honestly think that AEW came around too late. If they came around even 5 years ago, when Raw was averaging 3 to 4 million a week, they could have really been something. I think they could have really, but wrestling is just so, it just feels like a dead genre in this country. There's really no one that I talk to that's ever, whenever I talk to anybody about wrestling. And I honestly, I don't lead the conversation. I let them tell me what they think of it. They're always down on it. It's not like it used to be. It's not this. It's not that. They've changed too much. I don't like the storylines. I don't even know who's wrestling right now. That's always a good one too. Nobody even knows who's wrestling because they're not getting people over. And it's little things. Death by 1,000 paper cuts should be the epitaph for this company. Death by 1,000 paper cuts. You waste opportunities constantly. This Keith Lee thing is a prime example of that. I will stand by that statement. I will absolutely stand by that statement. So that stunk. The last Money in the Bank was pretty good with Matt Riddle and Sheamus. Sheamus they had a good hard hitting match. I'm not big on them using Matt Riddle right now until the whole entire thing is settled. But that was a really good match. That was really well done. Sheamus gets the win. And man, I just love Sheamus in hard-hitting matches. That's where it's at. Let me get back to the chat because I've been talking too much here. So Andrew says, honestly, Mike, wrestling as a whole is in deep shits. Agreed. Trevor Mishke, The Rock comes back to challenge Roman for the real tribal chief role. Yeah, absolutely. I could see that. If there's not going to be fans at WrestleMania, or if things aren't normal, I don't know if Dwayne Johnson's going to come out for that. And plus his schedule's so crazy. But I mean, Afonso coming out last night, it's man, I really was getting Rock vibes there. Afonso are saying that he's the tribal chief, but there is one other big time Samoan in the Anoa'i family, and that would be The Rock. So there could be something there, but the stars have to align. His schedule has to clear. There should be fans there to see it. So it's a tough call. But if there was one match that I think The Rock would come back for, that's the one. But don't forget, The Rock is also over 50 years old now. And the last time he had a match in 2013, a real match, not the Eric Rowan one at WrestleMania 33 or 32, excuse me. The last time he had a match, he tore his abdomen doing a rock bottom. So, I'm not sure that it's even worth it for him. It'd be good for Roman, but not worth it for him. And goes back to what I was talking about before. I think it would be Joe versus Roman. Sorry to let you down. No, it's not a letdown at all. I think Joe versus Roman would be great too. But, The Rock versus Roman, that's the big marquee match that everybody would want to see. But again, going back to what I said before, The Rock is 50 years old. Nostalgia. Again, that will be another year of not building up somebody, in a big babyface role. And, another old timer, and The Rock's in great shape. He's in better shape than I am at 33. But it's another old timer coming and taking a spot away from, people that have been there all year. especially during COVID right now. It's like that's tough to like, you know, take a spot from, you know, from people. You know, just 1 year, I've talked about this before, just 1 year, I wish that they would just ride with what they've got. Just go with what you got. All right. Heading back. Now, they did do a good job with Drew McIntyre, and he is like, you know, the one babyface that they have protected. He was great in his babyface match, you know, as the babyface in peril during the Hell in a Cell match. And he cut a good promo here. You know, like, I used to hate when John Cena would lose the title, and then he would come out the next night and he's smiling and just goofing around. Whatever. Like, Drew McIntyre came out and said a quote from Rocky about getting up when you get knocked down. That's some good stuff. Share some inspirational stuff. But he also said, like, you know, like why am I in a good mood and sharing inspirational quotes? Well, if you could read my mind, it's very different. I liked that line. That line meant a lot to me because it tells a story that, like, yes, the title actually means something. Now I get it, like we've all, you know, kind of beaten it down as a prop and stuff like that, and it just doesn't, it definitely doesn't carry the weight that it used to. And I still, like, you know, you can watch Wrestling with Shadows and like kind of laugh to yourself. That's like, my God, Bret Hart, and they all took that so seriously. It's just a prop. It's just, you know, it's play fighting. It's not that important. It's the world title that. It's not really a championship of anything. It's assigned to you, and then you drop it when you're told to drop it. You know, now like to think of the title that way now, it's like it's not even close to that. But it should still be the central focus of the show. It should, because at the end it's a simulated sport, and every sport has its title. And the title should mean something. And damn it, the matches should mean something too. Every match should mean something. Let me go back to those Money in the Bank matches again. I mean, I'm sorry, not those the Survivor Series qualifying matches again. Because in multiple times, 3 matches in a row. It actually wasn't even all the Survivor Series matches, but 3 matches in a row. Interference happened right in front of the referee, and no DQ was called. No DQ was called. So before the first commercial break in the AJ Styles Jeff Hardy match, Jeff Hardy goes to the second rope and dives, but Jordan Amagbahin catches him in full view of the referee, just catches the guy to prevent him from hitting Styles. That's a DQ. The guy got involved. He's touching the competitor. It's over. But because that's not the finish, and this is the story they want to tell, that Jordan is a big scary guy, we're going to sacrifice, you know, the rules of our simulated fights to tell this story that's not as interesting. And at the end, all you're doing is eroding people's, you know, eroding the trust, I guess you could say, of the people that watch these matches, watch these shows. It doesn't make any sense to do that. Like, you know, there should be rules established and followed. Because if you throw out, you know, if you just, you know, you do a cheap DQ later in the show, then it's like, well, what the fuck? Like that doesn't make any sense. And then it's like, well, why am I watching a show that doesn't even make sense and goes against everything that you just saw on the same show? It doesn't make it's insane. So that happened. And during the Akira Tozawa Drew Gulak versus Lucha House Party match, R-Truth just runs to the ring and he sends Akira Tozawa into the barricade right in front of the referee. R-Truth is not a part of this match. And they're all trying to pin him, and then all of a sudden, Dorado pins Gulak to win the tag match, but and somehow that match was still going on, so the referee, again, 2 matches in a row, the referee's credibility is destroyed. So it's like, well, why would anybody care what the referee has to say to begin with? What do the rules of wrestling even mean? You know, so DQ just will feel even cheaper. You know, imagine if you just, if they followed DQs constantly. You know, like it at least establishes it as like, you know, like, okay, don't dick around with the DQ. Again, you know, like Jeff Hardy's music hits. You know, Elias is on the top rope. The referee should pause the match. It doesn't make any sense, right there as well. During this horrible Retribution versus Hurt Business match. The referee, like, retaliation, Mia Yim gets in the ring and she's rolling around and she's inside the ring, causing a distraction right in front of the referee. Their match a month ago was thrown out because the illegal competitor, T-Bar, punched Bobby Lashley, and they said, oh, that's a DQ because the illegal competitor made contact with the competitor in the ring who was legal. That happened like 15 times this match. There was no DQ called this time. No one was eliminated from the match because of that. Like nothing makes sense. So what's the point of watching the show if what you're watching means nothing? That's what I'm trying to say. In so many words. It's maddening. And like, it's like you watch these things. Again, it goes back to what I was saying before. Death by 1,000 paper cuts. They just keep injuring themselves, and it just bleeds just a little. But you start getting more paper cuts. You lose more blood. You're losing more of your life force. You're losing more of your fans. Not good. Not good. I am very, very interested. This week. The conference, they're going to be talking to their investors this week. I am very interested to hear the questions that they're going to be asking, because they were asking some tough questions back in July when this was all going on. So we'll see, because they have not heard they have not improved their ratings that drastically. So, and they've spent more money at the Thunderdome than they were at the Performance Center, so that's not going to make them happy either. But let's keep going back to Bruce, the ultimate nostalgia writer. Trevor Mishke says, yeah. Well, but Bruce just writes what Vince wants. At the end of the day, he knows what Vince wants, and Vince just wants a guy who's going to write what he wants. Vince doesn't want to fight with anybody. He doesn't want to fight with Paul Heyman to change things up and go a different direction. He just wants old hat. That's what Vince wants. And Vince at 75 is not going to change that philosophy. He loves his old hat, and he's going to wear that old hat until he either drives the company to the ground or he gets too old and can't continue on. And by that point, the damage will have been done. The damage, I argue, has been done or is just done. I really think wrestling in America is not I don't think it's going to be around in 50 years. I don't even think it'll be around in 30 years. I don't think that there's enough to continue on. I really don't. I think it'll always exist in some form, but as on TV, with a ton of people watching, I don't know. I don't know if it has the legs anymore. And it's unless they make a drastic turnaround. But I think even if they made the biggest turnaround, if they found the next Steve Austin, I don't know if this thing takes off. I don't know. And WWE really has no one to blame but themselves. Now let me get to something good on this show. I really like this Firefly Funhouse segment. Bray Wyatt dressed as the Mad Hatter. I guess they're doing a little Halloween theme. Alexa Bliss, she famously wore the Alice in Wonderland kind of look at Evolution. And here she is again, she's Alice wandering into the Mad Hatter's lair. This was super dark. This was a really super dark segment because they really murdered Ramblin' Rabbit. They decapitated the puppet on television. That's pretty brutal. I gotta say, but I really liked, and I will show you actually what I really liked. Better to show this little thing right here. He heals Alexa Bliss with the healing hand. And she's got the Fiend's eyes. Ooh, that was really striking. That really, that caught me pretty good. I was pretty excited seeing that. And it left me wondering, like, man, when they go all in with Alexa Bliss and the Fiend, is Alexa Bliss is she gonna have her own Fiend mask? Is she gonna be like the Fiendess? Like, what's gonna happen there? But I love those. I love that they put the contacts in her eyes, and it really just like, wow, that really, really made an impact. That was pretty cool. And what they're doing with the Fiend and kind of building him up, and they get him involved with Randy Orton later on, and it's kind of like I blocked out of my mind how horrible, the House of Horrors match with Randy Orton and Bray Wyatt, the horrible WrestleMania 33 match that they had in Orlando. It's so much. This is like the only really good thing that's going on Raw right now. It really is, and I think it's going to prove that way. But again, now we have to put everything on pause because Randy Orton randomly has to go now face Roman Reigns because of brand supremacy. Like, really? We're gonna pause all the momentum that Bray Wyatt, Randy Orton, and Drew McIntyre as a program has to do stupid Survivor Series? Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? Victoria, welcome back, number one. Save me here. What the heck is going on with this company?
I don't know. I don't work for them. I mean, the only thing I will say is this. I mean, we all should work for them. I feel like like you or me, the people that listen to Wrestleview can easily work for the company and make it 10 times better, 1,000,000 times better, actually. But we probably get fired in 2 weeks because we don't follow the rules.
Oh, we just don't give Vince what he wants.
Yeah.
I was just saying before that Bruce Pritchard is, Trevor Mishke was saying that he's the ultimate nostalgia writer, but he just writes whatever Vince wants. Vince has Bruce because he's going to write what he wants.
I don't like when you listen to him anymore because I'm like...
I haven't listened to Bruce in a while.
No, that's not true. You listened to him last 2 weeks ago when we went
Well, when we were driving to Philadelphia, I put on I'll put on his podcast just because it gets us through the 2-hour drive.
Yeah, but I don't even like listening to it because he literally just goes around about everything. He doesn't actually give any insight to anything.
Well, he BS's his way through things. If something sucks, he just refuses to acknowledge that it sucks. That's really annoying. He's the ultimate kiss ass. That's how he got the job back.
No doubt about
it.
Because
it's
frustrating.
Completely.
It's like, dude, what the hell? It's like, why even bothering? I don't even know why anybody would bother interviewing him at this point because it's like,
right. It's stupid, but. I was just saying before, I really like this Firefly Funhouse segment here. Really, really good.
No.
Well, it was dark.
I didn't like it. Normally I would say yes, absolutely. I find a lot of enjoyment actually in the whole Firefly Funhouse. I couldn't say that. A little bit of a tongue twister there. But this one was a little too dark for my liking. I got to be honest with you. Somehow, and I'm not a sicko. Somehow, if they did this whole thing with a human where it was arsenic and
that was a little dark.
I didn't like the whole animal thing, even though it's supposed to be a puppet. It's supposed to be whatever. I don't like it with an animal. I don't. Anything to do with animals, no go for me. I would rather them actually put not actually, but did the thing with a human of a poisoning type thing rather than a cute little animal, because I thought it was a little too dark for my liking. I thought they pushed the envelope a little too much, but that's just me though, and that's just a personal thing, I guess. Little too dark. I like the storyline overall, but that was pushing the envelope for me.
Okay, all right.
For me,
all right. Hey, whatever you say, I support. That's fine. Daniel Show goes, Victoria has a stuffed animal, so it's personal with her what happened with the rabbit.
Of course, absolutely.
That's it. All right, so I talked about the Survivor Series qualifying matches already, but I have not touched on Retribution. I went off on a huge tangent about Keith Lee, gave Daniel Show exactly what he wanted, a Mike rant on the Keith Lee thing. Because
I heard you.
Stupid. Hayden Barker, poisoning humans is okay. Victoria 2020.
Yeah, I mean, anyone could vote for me for president. I'll be on the ballot this year.
That's it. That's her slogan. Poisoning humans is okay.
Yeah, no, anything. But a lot of people are like that, though. Anything to do with animals, it's no, that's not okay.
Even stuffed ones, absolutely.
Even stuffed ones, no.
So, okay. I was talking about how we don't get people over. Retribution. What?
I gave them a way out last week. I don't know why they didn't listen to me.
What the ever-loving shit is going on with this,
gave them an ultimatum. I gave them a way out. I said to WWE, we will pretend Retribution never happened. We will all pretend it never happened. Just stop it. Just stop it. Because they're burying their own group of people.
Of course they are. They have... They're treating them as a failed, dead tag team before they even had a chance to even fail.
I mean, they didn't even have any opportunity.
They had no opportunities.
No.
They had a few angles over the summer that was okay, they invested so much time into this. They had them be the central focus of so many shows, and then this. whatever the hell this is.
Wait, I have to pull up the recap.
Okay.
So two tweets from Mike Tedesco, the editor-in-chief himself.
Oh God. You're gonna read my tweets to me?
Yes, I am. Well, and to our listeners. Also, okay, so this was around 9:21. Also, we're not getting the Hurt Business versus Retribution again and unadvertised. The Hurt Business has really handled them every time. Why do we need to keep seeing this? Is this the next Apollo Crews Ricochet infinite loop for this group? First tweet. Second tweet. All caps and hold on. I can't see everybody. About 6 exclamation points.
Yes. Yeah.
Around 9:56, Retribution loses again. This is an all-time awful stable, and it's not even close. All the time they put into getting this over, and this is where we're at. They haven't won a single match yet. The only eliminations they got were a distraction pin and count out. Bad. Period.
I couldn't believe.
Sorry, bad is all caps, by the way.
I just couldn't believe that they did it again. I was like, okay, they had Slapjack lose like a slapjack bitch, at Hell in a Cell. They had T-Bar submit to the Hurt Lock last week. They lost their first meeting a couple weeks ago before they all got COVID.
Truth.
With a DQ.
Wow.
And I was like, okay, it's an elimination tag, so you could get, and I really thought they were setting up for this too. Like they eliminated Slapjack early. Okay, next person out was MVP. But he got eliminated on a distraction finish. Slapjack got murdered with a spear.
Okay.
Mia Yim or Retaliation, whatever stupid ass name is, gets in the ring and starts like just convulsing, which I don't know why that wouldn't just put the match on pause and get the woman, some medical attention, but instead that causes MVP to get the
why would we do that? Why would we?
Because she's having a medical emergency in the ring.
I know. I'm joking.
I'm talking about referee credibility here and
There's no
lack
credibility.
thereof. I know there isn't. That's why this show sucks, because nothing means anything. Nothing means anything. You could watch an entire show and it means nothing.
Actually, I'm going to go back to that video game reference. If you remember correctly, I was playing as The Miz and I actually hit Charles Robinson with the chair.
Yes.
And there were no repercussions for my actions at all.
That's because I always turn up DQ in the games.
But I'm saying this is exactly where we're at.
I know. But so we get MVP out of the match. Now it's 3-on-3. I'm sorry. MVP's eliminated first. Slapjack is eliminated second. So actually, Retribution had a 4-on-3 advantage. Then they level it out 3-on-3. Bobby Lashley and T-Bar get eliminated by countout. They were brawling. They brawled into the crowd.
Right.
And that was it. And I was like, okay. So we have Mace and Mustafa Ali against Cedric Alexander and Shelton Benjamin. I'm like, okay, those are the two most expendable guys in the Hurt Business. And Mustafa Ali was friends with Cedric Alexander, so it wouldn't be bad for Mustafa to beat Cedric, and Shelton could just get destroyed by Mace.
Right,
no. That would have made sense. And then it's like, okay, well, now the Retribution gets their win, and we can start, trying to save this thing. We can start trying to right the ship. Instead, Mace gets eliminated like in no time flat with a neuralizer and the pay dirt from Shelton Benjamin. Shelton Benjamin in his mid-40s is pinning Mace. Are you kidding me? Like, I love Shelton Benjamin. Don't get me wrong. He's a tremendous competitor, but it's time to start paying it back.
It is. I really, the whole thing with this Retribution thing is that it's not even like with Raw Underground, right? We just eliminated it completely. The same thing needs to happen with Retribution.
Yes, it just needs to go away.
It just needs to go away.
Like Raw Underground just fizzled and it just went away, and that's the end of it.
It didn't even fizzle; it just left. It literally just didn't appear anymore.
Yes, you're exactly right.
And I think the same thing needs to happen with Retribution at this point.
Right.
They shouldn't even pretend that they're going to try to revive it and try to save it at this point, because there is no reviving.
No point.
There is no point. There is no saving it. You're burying it before you even gave it a chance.
But why would anybody want to see it again?
Nobody wants to see it again.
Mustafa Ali was terrified. So he's supposed to be the leader of this group. Now he's terrified to be alone in the ring with Shelton Benjamin and Cedric Alexander. He hits him with a chair, and then he runs for his life. Like, what is going on? Like, this is horrible. They haven't won a single match. There's no reason for now. Mustafa Ali has been cutting good promos.
Do I have a question though?
But there's no reason to even believe what he's saying, because nothing he says even comes true.
So when I have a question though at this point, do you think that they're, and again, it is probably not the case, so I'm probably just saying a stupid statement next.
No.
But do you think they don't want to show again that an idea that they had just is not working? Like Raw Underground wasn't working, so they're like Retribution. So they feel
Retribution and Raw Underground debuted the same show.
Right. So do you feel like they have to? Okay. Do you feel like they have to at this point just give up on it and bury them immediately, since they don't want to show that this angle just is gone and disappeared like Raw Underground did? Do you think there's an element to like, okay, crap, 2 of these angles literally. Like
if they did this right, if they did Retribution right, we could have thrown out the whole stupid ass SmackDown versus Raw Survivor Series shit again and actually done like Team WWE versus Retribution as a big Survivor Series elimination match instead.
Yeah.
You know,
that would have been really good, actually.
That would have been a good payoff to this thing, and maybe Retribution wins.
Right.
Who knows?
Right.
But there's no hope of that now. There's no way that you can. There's no
salvage this.
There's no righting this ship.
But
it's over. Like the masks are stupid. Actually, part of T-Bar's mask fell apart in the ring. Shane Thorne, his mask can't even stay on his face. Well, the guy's constantly changing his mask.
Do you get what I'm saying though? Like, do you think that they're embarrassed at this point that 2 angles that I'm not going to say like majorly invested in because they don't do long term anymore, but do you think they're embarrassed and at this point they're like, okay, Raw Underground just like fizzled out for whatever reasons we actually don't know, believe it or not. It could have been because of COVID. It could have been. It is because of COVID, right? But they're not going to actively say that.
Davacado's gone, by the way.
But what I'm meaning to say is like, I think they're embarrassed at this point. Like, okay, but the only thing is though, if you're not going to continue with it, right? Just again, either completely stop it like you did Raw Underground, or salvage it where they're getting at least a few wins over people.
Yes, but instead they only face the Hurt Business now. Like I don't understand what their goal is. Like they talk about being held back, yet they get signed by WWE. So how are you held back now? Why are you still mad? You get drafted to Raw. As like what are you mad about? Like their whole entire story makes no sense.
The whole thing from the get-go was.
It was a stretch to begin with.
It was.
But now but the storytelling has just been atrocious.
Because the people
they could have given them a win tonight. They even gave them a video package highlighting everything that Retribution had done up to that point. I was like, okay, they're setting them up for a win tonight.
I know.
But no, instead we get this. What? Like, there's no hope. There's no hope here. It's over.
Okay, all right.
It's done.
Sorry.
It's finished.
All right. I know you're yelling at me like I did.
I'm not yelling at you. I'm yelling at the situation. It's terrible. Really, really bad. Anyway, Drew McIntyre versus The Miz here. What do you think of this match?
Well, no, I'm not gonna like go on a huge like thing about The Miz because I know I heard you talking about The Miz before. But I will say this, though. I love him having the Money in the Bank briefcase. I do. I really do. And I think again, it's not just because I love The Miz. I think we have to remember that this is he's a nice person to have with the briefcase because he has been at the top before, one of the main eventers. Whether, it was obviously he was a placeholder of a holding the title at the time, for Cena and The Rock and that whole thing, right? But Miz held his own, and he made a lot of sense when he was talking about last night. He's like, I've been in this company for a very long time, and I deserve the respect, and yeah, he's right. So like him being like there in the back of like, you never really know, like, could he cash in? But having matches like with Drew McIntyre and obviously Randy Orton in the future and things like that, that's always a good thing, in my opinion. it's always nice to see have Miz in the back burner of like, don't count him out. Right. You know, and him having a match with Drew McIntyre one-on-one is a good thing because obviously Drew McIntyre is a very strong player in WWE right now. So it's good that they're allowing Miz to have that opportunity to kind of be in that main event.
Right. And Miz could lose 1,000 times.
He can.
It does, and it'll just be undone when he wins the title with Money in the Bank.
Exactly.
Which I hope is what it's leading to. I hope the Fiend like wipes everybody out and Miz just comes in and pins everybody.
I hope it's not a situation where like he just has it and then he loses it again and then it's not like, you know, whatever. But I think that there is something to be said about them giving it to the Miz because, you know, you have to consider him. You have to. Like, he's put on Raw now, right? Utilize him.
Yeah, agreed.
And Drew McIntyre, like, I mean, what else can I say about him? He's just incredible. Like, I think and him losing to Randy Orton does not show any form of weakness. It doesn't show any form of, like, you know, it's good. No matter what, he had a good promo tonight. I think they had a nice matchup. Good little win for him, you know?
Yep.
It's good. It's good.
I know. Yeah.
It keeps, you know.
It's it was good. It was good for McIntyre, and it's just good that the Miz is just getting, you know, bigger matches. And
Miz
stuff
is
like
there.
that.
Miz deserves
he's in the thick of it.
He's in the thick of it.
That's what we want. Now we got Adam Pearce and Pat Buck in the ring. This is the state of the women's roster right now. They, instead of having qualifying matches, because number one, they don't even have enough women to have qualifying matches for, they're just going to introduce.
Did you do Peyton Royce's like actual name?
Why? What do you mean?
Never mind. My brain's like, never mind.
Okay. No, Peyton. Yeah. So they said, okay, we're just going to announce who's going to be on the Raw Women's Survivor Series team. Okay, great. So we got Nia Jax, Shayna Baszler, Mandy Rose, Dana Brooke, and the winner of a fatal four-way match between Lana, Lacey Evans, Peyton Royce, and Nikki Cross. I was like, okay, good. They're going to put Lana on this team. Like initially, I thought they were going to say and the fifth competitor because then Nia Jax cut him off and she wanted to make the final announcement, and then Shayna Baszler and Nia Jax, because they both want to be team captain, disagreed. I was like, okay, this is the perfect way to bring back Charlotte Flair. I was like, this is going to be really good. Bring back Charlotte Flair. She's the fifth competitor. Nope. Instead, we have a fatal four-way, and it's won by Lana, and then she gets put through a table again for the sixth time. That's the state of the women's roster right now.
I'm ashamed.
It's crazy.
I'm ashamed. They're making it like we're going so backwards with the women. It's not even like
it's brutal.
It's not even funny.
Hayden Barker says we need Santina. And Nikki Cross got new music too, Andrew Elder astutely points out. Yes. Like why? Why did he mess with the music?
It's not going to help.
I know.
It's not going to help. The thing about the women, it's so disappointing because we're a nice trajectory. And then it just
paused.
Now it just paused and we just don't care anymore.
Right.
And people don't realize the value in what the women were bringing at one point. But now it's like nobody cares again. This is your home version of a bathroom break. Yeah,
it really is. It really is.
It really is. This is
as soon as I saw that Charlotte wasn't coming out, I was like, I'm checking out.
No.
I mentally checked out there. I still recapped it, but I mentally checked out.
They're lucky that there are no fans in the crowd for them right now.
I know.
Because
that's how they're getting away with all this stuff.
They pipe in cheers and they pipe in whatever. Because if you had actual, fans in the arena, it'd be a joke.
Andrew Elder, does Victoria know anything about what's up with Charlotte?
The only thing I do know, she has been, if I'm not mistaken, I'll pull up her Instagram real quick. It's been kind of on the down low about, there's a lot of hush around, you know what I mean?
Well, yeah.
Just her, whole, just in general, she's been doing a lot of photo shoots recently, but she really is just kind of, I think she's just taking some time. I really do. I think she's just kind of taking some time and.
Well, she had that bad cosmetic surgery.
Yeah,
that
and
fixed.
I think that
she had silicone poisoning, I believe.
Yeah, so I think she just really wants to. I mean, she posted the other day about her like with the title, and then she was like, "I'm hungry," you know. So I'm always hungry. But I think for her, I think it's just like she's done so much and she's been carrying the division. I think she really is just taking a break at this point. And until she has a little bit more of better direction of what they want her to do next, you know, I think she's just happy to kind of take her time in the sense of, let me see what my next move is, because someone like Charlotte Flair just can't be in a random feud. You got to calculate it pretty, you know.
I think she comes back for Royal Rumble, and because it doesn't make any sense to bring her back at Survivor Series.
No, definitely not.
And then, you know, go to December and, you know, just slink through a pay-per-view that she doesn't need to be
she's just been kind of taking her time, but she has been a little bit low-key, not too much about what she's doing. She was at the beach the other day, you know. But I think that she's kind of waiting for something to happen before she commits to any type of storyline at this point. Because realistically, too, what's she coming back to? You know, like what can she really go back to that she hasn't already done before?
Right.
There's nobody really at her caliber. I mean, there's a few women, like, you know, I think Nia Jax and Shayna Baszler, of course, but otherwise, no, not really.
Well, that's not enough to keep
What
her
is she
going.
coming? What is she
Asuka,
coming?
that's it.
Asuka, but she's done that.
She's done that a million times.
A million times. So you can't rely on that same old story. You can't.
So I thought the final segment of the show with Randy Orton on the Moment of Bliss, I thought that was a pretty effective angle to at least close out the show.
I do too, and the reason, I was pleasantly surprised that it was effective as it was, because I remember how in the beginning of that segment I said to you, I'm like, I don't really like the fact that they're doing a Moment of Bliss when she's this new character.
Yeah.
Right? And this new version of Alexa Bliss. I'm like, how are they going to do this where it seems like she's not this Alexa Bliss where she's just like, you know, interviewing and being like the, like, you know, bitchy mean girl type thing, right? Yeah. But I did like how, you know, Randy Orton kept his distance from her. And the way she was kind of like questioning him and having that like mad and psychotic, you know, state type thing, and that like that transient state that she's in with you know, with Bray Wyatt. I liked that. And I liked how everything fell into place with Randy Orton, Drew McIntyre coming out, the Fiend standing behind Randy Orton, and then like them continuing to have their brawl. Everything that developed within that segment was really good. And I was very surprised how good it was, only because, again, I was like, why are they doing this whole Moment of Bliss thing? You know?
No, I told you right from the get-go to get the Fiend involved. Yeah, but it was very effectively done. They really did a nice job with it. So, yeah, that was a strong segment. But again, it's like, are we going to put this now on pause for Survivor Series, or is like Bray Wyatt going to like cost Drew McIntyre? Because I really think Drew McIntyre is going to wind up being like the team captain of the men's Survivor Series team, and maybe Bray Wyatt will also cost Randy Orton the match against Roman Reigns. I don't know.
Do you want to know why I don't like Survivor Series anymore? It's a very like pep rally, like rah rah, like, you know, and it's like not like what it. And I'm not gonna say it's gonna hurt Drew McIntyre if he is like the team captain, right? But it's like, why?
Yeah.
Like, why do we have to have these superstars come together for something like this? And like, ooh, like, look at me. Like, this is like the cheerleading pep rally, like, you know, whatever. Like, the blue team and the red team. It's like, no.
I know.
Like, it doesn't make any... At this point, I think they should take away Survivor Series and do something different, especially now, because, like you said, it's that whole brand.
They were going to ditch Survivor Series a few years ago. I know that.
Why do they stick with that?
Because it's one of their oldest shows. It's their second oldest show other than WrestleMania.
That's great, but it's not what it used to be.
It's not what it used to be, that's for sure.
It's not the same thing. There's really no difference between Raw and SmackDown. People come, and I heard you saying this before.
Yes, I said this all before already.
You were talking about how like sometimes it didn't take people like 2 years before they went to the other, you know,
absolutely
other roster. But it's
I'm
like
really loud.
No, you're not loud. The house just echoes.
Yeah.
Damn curtains. Is anybody? Oh, we decided what the Crimbus will be this year. It's to get us new curtains. I'm just kidding.
Yeah, no, we're kidding. We're kidding about that. Of course.
Totally kidding.
But if you want to, I said we were going to start a GoFundMe for new curtains here.
Yeah, exactly.
It's atrocious. All right, everybody, let's talk about what we thought of Raw. I'm going to pull up the screen. Let's see what Twitter thinks. I want to know what the chat room thinks. You give it a thumbs up or a thumbs down. While we do that, I'm going to show the Twitter. It is 53% thumbs down and 47% thumbs up.
You know what? I actually see that. I could see some people leaning towards it being a good show, just to be between the opening segment and the last segment too. You know.
Yep.
I could definitely see, and then there was a couple matches in between that were good, so I could see why some people thought it was good.
Yeah. What did you think of Raw?
I thought it was bad, not horrible, but I give it a thumbs down. I can confidently give it a thumbs down.
I can give it a thumbs down because it's just like, other than this Fiend Orton McIntyre thing, which actually feels like it was thought out. It was the first thing that was announced, and that was the only thing that was announced early in the day.
Yeah, for sure.
That was it.
Mm-hmm.
They had time to at least flesh out that angle,
or
that
course.
segment. I don't know if they have the full angle fleshed out at all because they don't have any plans beyond 1 week. Every week.
No, yeah, absolutely not.
There seems to be no direction ever. But other than that, it was like there is no eye to the future. That Keith Lee thing was just like so mind-blowing.
I know.
To me.
Heard you that you were
the retribution
mad.
stuff is the retribution stuff is just so mind-blowing to me because it's so bad. So with no eye to the future, with just writing to survive, writing for your life. That's what it feels like every week. They're writing for their life. They just want to pop a rating. They want to hotshot a whole bunch of stuff. They just give you away the farm every week. It's not good. Thumbs down. Got to get it together. This creative slump that they've been in for the last, I would say, 4 or 5 years.
Yeah,
a real
been
creative
years.
slump.
It's been years. It definitely is not. It's not.
Daniel Bryan was built by an accident. Who is like the really big star other than Roman Reigns? The enormous star, Drew McIntyre. They fell into that.
And that's the thing. Roman Reigns was like, initially, when we spoke about this, it was like, it's Roman Reigns. Oh, it's Roman Reigns. Oh, it's Roman Reigns. And unfortunately, it took a very tragic incident for his cancer, for people to really be like, oh, which is very sad. You know what I mean? Like, God bless Roman Reigns. I'm glad he's doing well. I mean, but that was a lot of times that people were like, "Oh, let's give this guy a chance," that type of thing. Because you were just rooting for him to his health to be coming back. But
they wrecked him. They had wrecked him before that.
They did. They really, totally really did. I mean,
but there's been no stars built. But what they did with Drew McIntyre this year and really protected him and did a really good job with him. It shows that they can still do it, but Vince is just like, he just gives up on people so fast.
I thought AEW would have been that one, like,
they came way too late.
Like spark in there,
they came too late
and like light it up for them, but
nothing. They've maintained,
nothing's driving them.
They've maintained the same audience for a full year without growing anything.
They'll be
they're good.
They'll be a superior brand. I will say this.
I don't think they're gonna blow up or anything like that.
No, I'm just saying. No. I'm talking about WWE. I feel like they'll always be the superior brand.
Always.
Just because they do have so much.
But the hardcores will go to AEW.
Yes.
But if the WWE loses hardcores, because it really feels like there's only hardcores left, that ain't good either. That's not good either.
No, it's not.
And as WWE, and just like General Motors, as General Motors goes, so goes the country. As WWE goes, so goes the entire wrestling genre.
Yeah.
So we'll see what happens. Let's see what everybody thought of this show. Andrew Elder gives it a thumbs indifferent. Hayden Barker, thumbs don't care.
Oh. I like the creativity.
Det Morales, thumbs up for the Alexa Angle and Matt Riddle match was good. Machine Walls gives it a thumbs down. Jorge Oliva gives it a thumbs up. Orton, Drew, Firefly, and Fiend saved the show, but barely.
And again, I see that.
I can see how this would be a mixed bag show.
100%.
But like, I was just like, I'm looking at it like so critically right now that it's like,
for sure,
the death by 1,000 paper cuts thing is really getting to me now. Thumbs in the toilet bowl from Quentin Walters. This show always thumbs up from Andrew Elder, so we thank you, Andrew.
Thank you, Andrew.
Vincent DiGirolamo, nice headband togi.
All right, relax, Vin.
Det Morales says Vince is going to make Lars future champion Lars is going to be a future champion. Is what he's saying. Billy Hefner did not watch it because he's already sick. He doesn't need to get sicker watching this thing.
Uncle Billy.
I know. Andrew Elder, AEW is just a hobby, and they let out of the bag that their belts are meaningless. Daniel Shell, thumbs undecided. Okay. AEW Dynamite blew themselves up.
I love how everyone's getting creative with their thumbs up, though. It's like thumbs indifferent, thumbs in the toilet, thumbs.
Andrew Elder says, "Gotta do Crimbus for Doug's new liver." That's true.
Oh my gosh.
Post Raw 5 stars from Nafis, so we thank Nafis. And Vince says he was being serious.
He was not being serious. I know my brother. He was not being serious, and I had to roll my headband on because
Jorge Oliva just brought up something interesting here. Did someone say pie time?
I thought everyone was gonna forget about that.
No, we did not.
Come on.
We got one more thing to pay off here, so don't go anywhere. We still got people here. As I go prepare this, Victoria's going to talk to you, and I need everybody to like this video who's in the chat room right now. So everybody just like that video. Victoria, talk to everybody for a few.
No, and now I'm mad at everyone again.
Tell them about the bet. Tell them about why this is happening. I really made this bet thinking that I was going to be taking a pie.
No, you did not. No, you did not. The bet was from Hell in the Cell last night that if Sasha in any way got the title, didn't matter like how she got it, that I would get pied in the face. And again, this is actually not a fair thing because I literally did not even get to choose. Like, he just chose. Like, what if I wanted to choose Sasha Banks to win? That would have been nice, but I just always get the default type of decisions from this. So this is why I'm really angry right now because... And who reminded him about the pie? I thought I was done with this. I had to rock the baby for like 35 minutes. So don't I get a free pass? Please? No, don't add whipped cream. Don't do it. Don't do it. Please don't do it. Like, I can't. How many times does a person get pied in the face? I don't work at a carnival. I don't work in this. Like, what are we doing? Why is there so much whipped cream on it?
Because I want to eat some of it.
Oh my God, please don't get in my hair. Don't get in my hair.
You know, I really thought that it was going to be me. I really did. I thought that they were going to hold off on Sasha Banks, and I thought Bayley was going to win this. I thought it was an easy one, but apparently I just know too much about wrestling. So, you must pay.
No, please don't do it.
Try not to mess with me on wrestling. I know my stuff. I just know stuff.
It wasn't fair though because I literally did not get to even decide.
I just know stuff. Wow, what a payoff to the show. Daniel Shell says, by the way, Victoria, you do work in a carnival because you're married to Mike. Andrew Elder says that you're Wrestleview's Lana. You keep going to the
I'd
table.
rather go to a table than this.
Daniel Shell now says that you look like Mrs. Doubtfire. I'm sure eventually I will take a pie. I'm sure I will.
You didn't even let me get to decide last week. It was literally a default decision.
I honestly okay, I'm gonna tell everybody right now. I made that bet to throw it. I really made that bet because I was convinced that Bayley was gonna win.
You were not.
I was like, okay, she got the pie last week. I'll take a pie next week, so I'll just make up a bullshit bet. And oops. Once again, too smart for my own good there.
Do I have a towel?
Yeah. No, we'll take care of you. But we're going to sign off anyway because this show's gone on long enough. But we always pay off our bets here. All right, everybody. On that note, I am Mike Tedesco, the the editor-in-chief, now they want to see me get pied. Do you want to come pie me?
No, I have to earn it. I have to earn it.
Okay. I don't know when we're going to have another chance to do a pie.
You don't just get pie, everybody. Sorry. I'm really mad at all of you.
She's mad at everybody. That's okay.
You're all on the list.
Uh-oh. They're all on the list. How are they on the list? It was my fault. This one was totally my fault.
Doesn't matter. They all reminded you again.
Goosey wants more pie. All right, so we need to figure out, like, of course they advertise nothing for Raw next week, but Survivor Series is coming up.
Well, we're not doing a pie next week.
No, there's not going to be a pie next week. We're not going to do a pie next week, but Survivor Series is coming up. I think we should make some bets.
What? Oh, SmackDown team wins or Raw wins? And
yeah. We'll see what happens. We'll see what happens. I know I will get pied at some point. Anyway, on that note, thanks everybody so much for joining us. We had a lot of fun here, even though Victoria is kind of upset she got the pie. But it is delicious whipped cream.
Oh, it is delicious.
It is really good.
It is delicious.
So on that, so again, I'm Mike Tedesco, the editor-in-chief of Wrestleview.com.
And I'm Pie Girl.
Pie Girl Tedesco. Thanks so much for joining us. Have a great week, and we will see you next week.
Bye, everybody.
Ciao.